Welcome back to my channel, my fish and I. Today's topic will be discussing fish keeping. Fish keeping meaning providing such a condition in the aquarium that your fish will live and remain in good condition for several months or several years, depends on the lifespan of the species of fish that you're keeping. The primary principle of keeping a successful aquarium is proper water condition. Composition, temperature, amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide, so-called like respiratory gas in the water, and correct feeding. A lot of people, they overfeed their fish, and when you overfeed, you literally pollute your water more often. People think every fish should eat all the time and they put too much food, and that's one of the main problems that a lot of aquarists have problems keeping fish, especially certain species of fish that's sensitive. Other important factors are lighting, plants, and shelter in the aquarium, composition of the bottom substrate, and suitable selection of fish. Fish keeping nowadays is greatly facilitated by modern technology like canister filters, thermostat, LED lights, power heads. You know, technology come a long way from when we used to keep fish as kids, when we just put them in a bowl with some plants and just change the water. An aquarium that is provided with suitable equipment and flourishing plant, and that is above all not overcrowded with chaotic assortments of fish that shouldn't probably be together. This alone, however, is not enough to keep the fish thriving. The aquarist must have at least basic knowledge of fish and its environment, particularly those species that he or she intends to keep. So you have to do your research before you get your fish. Not every fish are compatible together. You don't want to get a peaceful fish to put with an aggressive fish, because aggressive fish is going to be a predator and the peaceful fish is going to be the victim to the predation. Even less demanding species of fish require a certain amount of care and have their specific food and environment requirement. For instance, strophius are literally mostly vegetarian fish. So if you give them a lot of protein-filled pellets or protein in their diet, they're going to develop Malawali bloat, and they're going to die because their body is not used to eating that type of food in nature. So their digestive system is not designed to break down the protein like that, because they primarily feed on plants and algae. So those are things that's important to research before you start to keep those fish, and especially mixing with other fish that require a lot of high protein in their diet. A basic rule is never keep big and small fish, predator and peaceful fish together in a single aquarium. Do not skim on space. Always choose a larger than smaller aquarium. The bigger the aquarium, the less work it is, and the greater success for you as an aquarist. The aquarium should be located primarily in a spot where it fits within the layout and furnishing of the room. In nature, fish live in salt, brackish, and fresh water. And each bracket of water in nature has its ecosystem. Example, an independent function system made up of a community of animals, plants, the physical and chemical of the environment. Therefore, when I try to build a tank, I try to make an ecosystem with live plants if I can, with some snails, with some shrimps, with some scuds, because it all works symbiotically to keep the aquarium stable. Each have their own purposes and keep your water chemistry pristine. So you are literally one of the biggest factors in changing water, but changing water always is not the only thing that contributes to an aquarium literally dying off when you start losing fish. The living organism and non-living environment affect one another. The ecosystem is composed of individual biotopes, which are the smallest natural area with a unique form of environment acquired, occupied by an unified community of organisms. Such as a biotope is a well-equipped aquarium. If you can provide the fish with water condition, composition, and temperature that are much like those that are given to those species in the natural habitat, then perhaps we will succeed in having fish that are not only healthy, but that will also start breeding and spawning in your aquarium. Providing exactly the same condition as in nature is impossible, and the experience have shown that strict observation of chemical composition and temperature according to the data from nature need not always lead to the desired end. These may serve only as a guide, and is up to the aquarist to find the way and means to success, as it is impossible to provide specific instructions for each different aquariums, because in the different aquariums have different requirements, because you're keeping is not one size fit all, because you're keeping different species of fish. It could be hard water fish, soft water fish, it could be brackish fish, it could brackish water fish, it could be aggressive fish, could be peaceful fish, could be fish that can live with plants, fish that can't live with plants. So it is not one size fit all. You have to learn what setup fits your needs for your aquarium. The aquarist successfully in raising fish in captivity is due to great part that the fact that most freshwater and brackish water species are adaptable to their environment requirements. So they're not as sensitive per se to these water conditions. This makes it possible to raise and breed a wide assortment of fish species in the aquarium. This adaptability is generally absent in saltwater fish. That is why keeping them in the aquarium is far more difficult. Another decisive factor in raising fish is food. Foraging for food is one of their main activity in nature and are linked to certain food chain, example, phytoplankton, zooplankton, small fish, predatory fish. Man, it is impossible to provide a wide chain in the aquarium, but we must know which part of such chain that the fish in our aquariums needs. As I said, for instance, predatory fish needs a higher protein in their diet, like piranha. So you get a high protein pellets, or you give them a little bit of frozen fish, or you supplement it with feed them mussels, shrimps, and stuff like that. Trophies, on the other hand, are mainly vegetarian. So you give them lettuce, cucumbers, give them vegetable pellets, and vice versa. So you have to know what food requirement of the fish you're keeping. It is very important, so you don't run into having deficiencies, because we can't provide as variety of food that they would get in nature, because nature is is a masterpiece of its own craft, and it's very, very much, we can't replicate it 100%. We just gotta try our best to do as best as we can. According to the type of food they eat, fish are divided in the following groups: carnivores, predatory fish that can only eat animal food, such as piranhas, but some piranhas eat vegetable matter there too, as well. Predatory fish, so you still should give them, if mainly their diet is protein, you should still give them some vegetable in your diet. It'll help them go, you know what I'm saying? So you don't limit yourself. Even my trophies, sometimes once in a while, you just don't make it the main staple. I give them some protein in their diet, because variety of food is key to any success. You know what I'm saying? There's herbivores or vegetarian fish that feeds mainly on plant-based food. They're omnivorous fish that feeds on both animal and vegetable substance food. Carnivore fish are fed on plankton, crustacean, other fish, tubersex worm, white worms, chopped earthworms, mosquito larvae, midget larvae in adult insects, fruit flies, beef, chicken, fish meat, small fish, occasionally certain artificial food like protein pellets, just like these Oscars. You know what I'm saying? So there's a wide variety of food that you should incorporate it in a predatory fish diet. You know what I'm saying? To make them happy, and variety is key. You wouldn't want to eat the same stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? It is necessary to know that not all carnivore fish can be fed all the above food. Right? So you gotta know what fish you're keeping and what it can eat. Variety is key. It is necessary to know whether there are other requirements. Example, the size of the individual piece of food, like discus, even though they like high protein, you can't have a big food in there because it might choke them. So you have to make sure it's fine pellets and the food are smaller. A great indicator of those sizes, you just gotta look at the size of the fish mouth. Bigger mouth can get bigger pieces. Common sense, like smaller mouth fish would require smaller pellets. You also should know, does the fish collect the food at the top of the tank or at the bottom of the tank? So you know if you need floating pellets or sinking pellets. You know what I'm saying? So those are information that's pertinent to how you're gonna feed the fish that you're keeping. Aquarium fish that only eat plants are kind of few in numbers, but for many vegetable food is a necessary part of their diet if they are to remain in good condition. Such fish are given blanched lettuce, strained spinach, dry vegetable food like cucumbers as well, garlic. Herbivore fish, they can eat algae off the glass as well, side of the aquarium, off the plants. Some species nibble on the fine leaf of the aquarium plant. That's why I like plants in aquariums. It just makes it looks more natural, and it actually help filter your aquarium, and you're building an ecosystem when you have live plants. Feeding omnivorous fish are no trouble. They're the least trouble because you can give them a variety of food. You can feed them with plant-based food or protein-based food. These fish are often content with a wide variety of artificial food as well, which add advantage that they can get certain vitamins, and minerals and other supplements in those artificial food. But once you feed pellets and flakes and stuff, they drastically destroy your water quality, because once it starts to decompose in the water column, a lot of times it get very messy, and that's why you need the plants, the bacteria to break it down to help it doesn't spoil the water as rapidly. The more you feed, the more you gotta change water. Fish, the less you feed, common sense, the less water you get dirty. Because most of the thing is the food we're introducing, especially the artificial food, that's the biggest contributor to fouling the water column. The correct functioning of the fish metabolism depends on the amount of food it eats. Only over and above certain quality or absorb nutrients utilized. New muscle tissues is formed, fats and glycerin are stored, and the skeleton increase in size. So when you have smaller fish, you have to feed them more frequently because they're growing. Therefore, it's a good thing to feed them 3 to 6 times a day because they're growing. But once they're adults, you don't have to feed them as often. You can feed them once a day, once every other day, once a week. You know what I'm saying? So they don't require as much protein and nutrients to grow because they're already at full size, and they ain't gonna absorb as much nutrients at that time. The amount of food the fish eats depends directly on the amount of oxygen in the water, the favorable chemical composition of the water, and the water temperature. It also depends on the species, the age, and the condition of the fish. If you make it this far through the video, please like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated.